Good afternoon, my friends. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications so I can be with you forever. I'm going to be leaving my email in the description, so if you want your own personalized tarot reading, astrology chart reading, music production lessons, anything at all, feel free to hit me up there. And I'm currently getting some new gear for filming, so with lectures that I've been doing it kind of just taking my webcam and putting it on a chair and doing a really shitty quality video of me trying to teach. But now I actually have my camera again, and I'm getting a tripod and a microphone, so I'm going to be setting up a lot more, legit educational content that I want to set up on a website at some point. And I'm going to have a lot of other stuff on there too that I'm planning. I have like a lot of different projects, so if people are wondering why I'm not releasing a lot of stuff, it's because I'm trying to put together a lot of things into this big project. So anyway, it's a lot of different things that I'm working on. But today I'm going to be talking about chakras, and specifically just energy centers, because I'm not really familiar with the chakra system that well. I know the basics of it that anyone knows about. If you look at memes on Instagram of spirituality and they talk about the meanings of the chakra, the throat chakra is about communication, and the heart chakra is about passion and love, and all of this other stuff. And I think those aspects of understanding energetic work are very important for beginners, I would say, because it kind of gives you a visualized aspect of the human body and the energetic matrix, if you want to call it that is very easy to digest, very easy to understand. And like I said, I'm not that familiar with it. I'm more adept in the Chinese internal arts, which are, I don't want to say they're the same, but they're very similar. They overlap in a lot of ways, but the system and the understanding of all the components are very, very different. But so even though when I started off just playing around with these components, I used the chakra system myself because it was, pretty easy to do, and it was there. So that was what I learned from. And then over time, as I've gotten more in touch with my body and understanding things within my body, I've sort of let go of utilizing chakras or understanding my body utilizing chakras, because the body is composed of many, many different areas, right? The chakra system is just a very overly simplified version of that. It's not even really, I wouldn't even call them specific orbs or whatever that are like to be described a lot in these memes, like these little energy orbs that are just in these very tight pockets. It's a little more complicated. It's like the nervous system, right? And it's just where the nerves intersect with one another, and where there's a lot of energy going on, which isn't necessarily the nervous system, but the two, like I said, are intertwined. There's a lot of overlap between the two systems. And so let's say, for instance, the heart chakra, right? The heart chakra isn't really a chakra. It's an energy center where there's a lot of different channels meeting up at a certain point here. So when we say things like opening up your chakras or clearing up your chakras, in at least from my understanding of traditional yogic practices of actually opening the chakras, which is a really difficult thing to do. It takes a lifetime of work and cultivation to master that. So just saying make sure this is how you open your heart chakra in 3 easy steps. It's really not like that. What you're doing is you're clearing out blockages in the energy matrix, so to speak. And there's a lot of there's just a lot of shit going on in the heart chakra and the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. Those are energy centers where a lot of shit is going on there. And when you're talking about clearing out your chakras or opening up the chakras, you're not opening them. Opening them is a very spiritual, deep practice of basically detaching yourself completely from your body and sort of becoming immortalized and dying, essentially, in a way. I'm not that familiar with it, but I believe that's kind of the path you're taking when you're actually opening the chakra, is you're releasing your spirit, right? The spirit that's entrapped in you. You're not releasing your spirit when you read these memes about opening your chakras, what you're doing is you're clearing out energy blockages, and energy blockages that, you know, build up over time from your life or previous lives or ancestral DNA. Genetics are very important, and those carry with you wounds from your parents and your grandparents. And this is why, like, you know, when you're having kids, make sure that you are ready and you're not bringing in extra baggage to your children that have to pay that off in their lives, right? Which I've had to do in my own life because of my parents' choice, which I'm not going to get into necessarily, but it's these kinds of things that karmically affect your offspring. And, you know, whether you believe in past life reincarnations, which I don't even need to say I believe in it or not, it's just kind of how consciousness works. You know, you're going to be carrying in stuff from your previous lives into your new body, and that's going to reflect in your real life until you actually learn to clear those out, which is another process that takes a long time. And this is the main reason why I don't particularly ascribe to the chakra system, because when you're hyper focused on these areas, which are very important to their very central components of the body, where a lot of things are happening, you're neglecting other aspects. You know, you're neglecting your shoulders, your hands, your arms, your eyes, right? And these are places where, you know, there could be blockages, there could be issues in those specific places. And this is where you get like acupuncture and the importance of those kinds of arts, where, you know, you have that precision element of where the specific little points, because don't forget, it's not just the chakras. There's all kinds of different, there's hundreds of different places in your body that store information and store energy. And it's just endless, honestly, in terms of understanding these things, because they're not understandable in an empirical fashion. You can't really see them in the physical world, and it's not tangible. So understanding these things is something that takes a lot of practice and developing, I don't want to say your intuition, because it's more than that. It's like feeling out a muscle that you've never moved before. And when you start moving it, it's really awkward. And for a while, it gets really sore because you've never used it before. And it's just not really usable for a while. And then you get used to it. And then eventually you are more in tune with it. And it's just another part of your body. And that's how I feel about the energy body, or the energy matrix, is once you get into it, you can just sort of tap into what's blocked right now, right? So I usually have a lot of blockages here in my neck, on the sides here, not in the throat chakra or whatever, because it's different. There's different parts of the throat. There's different functions of the throat. And I think this is where people need to understand. There's also, you know, we forget that the body has organs in it, right? And that's where a lot of energy is stored, in our organs, in your liver, in your stomach, in your spleen, in your digestive tract. You know, I think that this is one of the key components if you're getting into energy work, is just know where everything in your body is, right? If you're like starting to like talk about opening up your solar plexus chakra or whatever the fuck, do you even know where your liver is? Like, do you know which side of your stomach or whatever your core is, where your liver is resting? And if you don't even know that, then you have a serious problem there. You don't actually know your own body. These are the kinds of things that I find are neglected a lot in spirituality. They just kind of focus on like, oh yeah, the 7 chakras, and that's pretty much it. And like I said, those are important components, but there's a lot more going on here that isn't talked about and isn't really emphasized, because it's not that interesting. It's not that interesting to talk about a blockage in your back. It just seems like you need to go to a physical therapist or something like that, when in reality could be a trauma from your childhood that you've stored in, you know, in your back somewhere, or in your kidneys, or anywhere really. And, you know, these are kinds of things that once you get in touch with it, you can actually, you know, I'm going to say you can talk to your body. You can talk to the individual parts of your body. And this is difficult because it's obviously going to be distorted by your own mind, by your own imagination, and it might create things. So for instance, if you're feeling sick and your stomach is basically sending you signals because it hurts, right? That's basically the main communication you feel, is like pain usually, or you feel good, you feel full. Those are the basic ones, but then you can actually understand things on a deeper level, and you can sort of communicate with your stomach, like, what should I eat right now, and sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes you need to eat, greens and vegetables, which is very typical. Sometimes it's like, no, I want fat, I need like yogurt, I need like butter, I need meat, whatever. Sometimes it's like that. And once you start listening to your body and understanding your body, you'll be able to eat, and they call it intuitive dieting. I don't like using intuition because it's not, intuition's a little bit more ethereal, right? It's more about predicting the future, of predicting future events. You're not predicting anything. You're not being intuitive to anything. You're just sort of listening to your body. And I think that's what people need to do, is listen to their bodies a lot more, instead of, opening up their chakras or saying mantras over and over again, which, mantras are fine, but if you can actually do these things without having to act on them, without actually having to force a response, then you're attaining mastery in a way, because you're just doing it naturally. You're just letting it come to you. You're not even having to do anything. It's your body that's telling you what you have to do. It's your body telling you how to heal itself, and you can sort of learn from your own body and understand it in that way. And and this is the problem with the mind and the imagination, is the ego gets in the way, and the ego will distort what your body is telling you. So let's say you're a smoker, right? And you smoke a pack a day, and you can say you're intuitive, and your lungs are telling you, stop smoking, this is bad. But your ego wants to smoke. So your ego is going to be telling you, no, it's fine, it's good, just do it, it's fine, you'll be fine, it's whatever, it doesn't matter. So you're getting these two different frequencies, and whatever's stronger, whatever you're more in tune to, which is smoking, obviously, because, if you've been smoking long enough, then your lungs obviously wouldn't have the strength to tell you that this is bad, because they would have been doing this a long time ago, and you would have stopped by then. So by now, your ego is stronger than your own body. And that's another issue altogether. So if you have an ego problem, specifically with your body somehow, let's say you're an alcoholic, or you have an eating disorder, and your stomach or your liver or your kidneys or whatever is telling you something, but you're going to ignore it in favor of pursuing what your ego wants. And your ego is going to get it whatever it wants. And this goes for sex too. If you're a sex addict, much like myself, your prostate or your sexual organs might tell you, okay, it's enough, you're overusing it, you're overutilizing this aspect of your body. But your ego won't give a shit, and it'll just kind of tune that out, and you'll block that out, which is why you should cultivate mindfulness and all that crap, because it really helps you be able to listen to your body, which goes beyond the chakra system, because there's a lot of different components, and you are composed of a myriad of living beings. You're not just one central whole thing. I mean, you are whole in the sense, but you're composed of many living components. Every cell in your body is a living thing. It's an individual living thing. And this goes the same for the heart. The heart is a living thing. Your kidneys are a living thing. Your stomach is a living thing. And they're all working together to create your human body. And, you need to listen to everything in the body, not just the chakras, which are just, they're abstract. They don't represent anything, which is why I prefer Chinese medicine, because with every center that it talks about, it's always ascribed to another aspect of the human body, right? So if you think about like earth or whatever, like the element of earth is always ascribed to the stomach, or metal is ascribed to the lungs. And when we're talking about the cauldron or whatever, the dantian, right, that's ascribed to the sexual organs, the sexual reproduction. It gives you, and also the kidneys as well, your fluids, it's all connected, and it gives you a real perspective of the human body and how it relates to all the organs and its functionings, and it brings it to a more reductive scientific explanation, I would say. So I'm going to leave it at that. Make sure to comment below your thoughts, and make sure to like and subscribe as well, and turn on notifications so I can be with you forever. And I'll see you next time. Peace.